Thank you for tuning into the Punchline podcast. As you know, as usual, when Lawrence Serez's face shows up, you know it's about to be a blockbuster of a conversation. And more similarly, we are also about to get educated quite a lot. It's been a wonderful year, the year 2025. We are on the last quarter of this brilliant year where I can say everything has already happened. So when you are watching here, it's either you are laughing at me or laughing with me, because whatever you can imagine has already happened. And I'm looking forward to how we are going to close the year. We have our superstars, the athletics team. We are sitting right at the apex of global athletics. The team Liduanke, Monarona Litsile Tebogo. You have Bo Colin Kibina Tsipi, you have Bo Scotch, you have Bon Dori. These guys did amazing work over the weekend, and I would like to just say right now, thank you, gentlemen. And I do believe that as the Punchline podcast, somewhere, somehow, we will contribute in this national celebration for this global victory. But let me get back to what we are here for and what you are exactly here for. In the studio today, I'm joined by a sparkling voice that is shaping the future of responsible mining and community transformation. This is Mayor Otsile Mabeo, who is the Vice President of Social Impact and Sustainability at the BS Group. She leads the company's efforts to ensure diamonds do more than shine. They uplift communities, support women and youth, and drive sustainable development across Africa. From livelihoods to climate action, hey, Ms. Mabeo is at the heart of the BS Building Forever mission. So today I welcome her to the studio so that we can chit-chat about this sector that she's leading within the DBS conglomerate, so that we can get educated and get informed. Let debate on these issues. At least they were really clueless what it is that she do and what it is that they want to achieve. Mabeo, please welcome to the Punchline podcast. How are you doing?
Thank you very much, Lawrence. Thank you very much for having me on your show. It's such a pleasure to be here. And I'm doing very well. Thank you.
All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. Summertime is here. I can see people are shining. People are now dressed with utmost elegance. How was your weekend?
My weekend was very good.
Okay.
Yeah, quiet, restful, as weekends should be, especially this time of year as we're getting to the end. But like you, super excited to have seen the performance of the Botswana athletes. Really fantastic. I mean, it's amazing.
Yes.
I think it seems as though with, Litsile winning the gold medal, it's just kind of opened things up. And, Botswana more and more is coming up front, and that's really great to see.
No, I love it when it's coming from you, because it's one of the biggest companies in the country. When you say things have opened up, we might see one of the biggest celebrations we have had. Last year, was it last year's celebrations when they were coming from the Olympics? It was massive at the stadium. So I do believe that this time around, since we have, 3 medals, 5 actually, we will be able to see double the efforts of the celebrations. So we are here today to discuss DBS operations and its significant impact, particularly in Botswana, where we are based. To start, let's reflect on the interim financial results for 2025, which were presented about a month ago, August, where the company indicated that it had a highly challenging period for the diamond industry, and it described it as one of the most difficult since the 1980s or even the 1930s back then. Can you just maybe walk me through what the interim results were saying and what the outlook was as of now?
Okay, so it has been a very challenging period for us, but not just for the interims. I think the last 2 years have really been a challenging period for the diamond industry. And as a company, a leading company in this area, we have certainly felt the effects of that. The demand for natural diamonds has declined. This had an impact on our performance. We are seeing, though, that there's starting to be some improvement. So our half-year results, I think the second quarter was probably the best quarter results we've seen in the last 2 years. So that's encouraging. We're starting to see the signs of improvement, but we still have a way to go. We're still not back yet where we want to be. And I think there are still geopolitical challenges, macroeconomic challenges.
Fantastic. Recently, there was, I think, one of our companies, is it Tokafala Diamonds, posted that they had sold close to 1 billion. And when I take that part and parcel with your positive outlook, as per the recent analysis and the data you shared, what do we owe this positive outlook? Is it this perception, or is it the market dynamics, or is it that financially people are really just starting to recover?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. We are seeing some recovery in some of our major consumer markets. So the US, for instance, we're seeing recovery there, and we're doing a lot from a marketing perspective to really drive that positive sentiment. We've done a lot of campaigns globally and particularly in the US, and we're seeing that retailer perceptions of natural diamonds are coming back. And we're also seeing that there is a preference now for natural diamonds compared to lab-grown. So we're really seeing that those efforts are starting to bear fruit. But as I said, because there's still other challenges, China remains constrained in many instances. It was our second biggest market as De Beers. So we're seeing pockets of improvement in other areas, and other areas still have a while to go to get to where we need them to be. But when we look at our key markets, as I said, the US is looking steady now. We're seeing some improvement. India is very promising. Retailers are seeing some good growth, and I think our outlook for India is certainly positive despite some of these other challenges that are happening.
Oh, quite impressive. Let me start with where the story is really. Before all the market turbulences and all that, the contest between the understanding of lab-grown, those are synthetic diamonds, and the natural diamonds, where some are saying they are increasingly serving the industrial and the technological side, and the high-tech. It also contributes in the development of high-tech application. How is De Beers positioning itself to compete or collaborate in those markets beyond jewelry and luxury? Because the story really here is about natural diamonds in the area of jewelry and luxury.
Absolutely.
But in the areas of industrial and technological, what is the balance?
So, I mean, that's a very, very important question. So if I can go back a little bit, we have a company called Element 6, which produces synthetics for industrial use. This company also used to provide synthetic lab-grown diamonds to Lightbox, which was our company that sold lab-grown diamond jewelry. We have since closed that company. It was really set up to educate our clients on the difference, particularly in value, between lab-grown and natural diamonds. And I think we've done that very nicely. We've seen the prices of wholesale, the wholesale prices and even the retail prices of lab-grown diamonds decline significantly, which has then given us the confidence that these two categories of diamonds have fallen into their rightful places. Natural diamonds, as you said, for your high-end jewelry, lab-grown, which are mass-produced, low-cost, sort of for fast fashion. And that's where they should be. They exist together, but they serve two different segments entirely. So two different categories. So our Element 6 company is now really focused on the production of synthetics for industrial use. And we're seeing that there is opportunity, greater opportunity in the market for this. As you know, the diamond is the hardest known substance. So it is used for a variety of things, surgical equipment, high-tech applications, semiconductors. There is a lot of use in the industrial space. And that's an area that Element 6 is going to focus on. We've got global partners that we're working with to develop solutions that can support industrial application of
measuring.
Yes.
I get the perception, there's an ongoing perception, but you have put together so many efforts, like you're saying, you have Signet, you have all these other countries across the globe where you are dealing with that. When you measure the turnaround efforts on the perception, could you be saying that the market does understand your story, the consumer does understand your story, or we still have so much effort to put in place?
I think we've made progress in the right direction,
Okay.
but there is still a way to go. We still have to continue those marketing efforts. You know, we want to get to a position where it's no longer sort of a contest in terms of, do I buy lab-grown or do I buy natural, for somebody who's looking for diamond jewelry, for not fast fashion, but for luxury diamond jewelry. We want it to be a natural choice, and therefore we have to continue our marketing efforts, we have to continue our communications efforts, and we have to specifically also continue talking about the good that natural diamonds do, which lab-grown diamonds cannot make that same claim. You know, natural diamonds, as you can see, have developed a whole country. They employ globally more than 10 million people around the world. They do so much for climate and nature, which is one of our Building Forever pillars. But there are a lot of things that we do as the natural diamond industry, collectively with producer country partners, that tell such a compelling story. And we need to continue to tell it so that people know, and when they go into a store, they already know the story and are ready to buy a natural diamond.
Yes. And now they know our story more than ever,
Now,
because
exactly.
Diamonds have produced athletes who can go for gold.
Exactly, that's it.
So we'll get back to that subject matter as we go along to understand the relationship between the community and the society and the diamond. But let's understand tariffs maybe at the top of the conversation, because with US tariffs specifically on Indian polished goods at 50%. What ripple effects do you anticipate for Botswana's diamond value chain? Because most of all of our diamonds, at least most of them, 90% I think, are being polished in India, and we get all the services there, especially polishing, exports, and consumer access. With India at 50%, US market tariffs, and US being our biggest market, what ripple effects should we anticipate as a country? You
know, yes, India certainly is a major diamond center, global diamond center. Major manufacturing happens in India, and therefore a tariff rate of 50% is not good for the industry. That is for certain. And there have been efforts to try to engage to look at the possibility of not having tariffs apply to diamonds. And this is not just efforts that are isolated. It is pretty much, you know, the World Diamond Council and almost the entire industry rallying behind it for this position to be put forward. And the reason being that the US does not have a domestic mining or manufacturing sector to protect. So honestly, having tariffs at 50% is really just going to end up making diamonds expensive for the consumer, which would mean the consumer may push back, and retailers may then push back and demand lower prices across the value chain, which would just mean much lower margins for producer countries, for companies, and everybody who's playing in that space all the way up to retail. So the ripple effect will be there if there's that consumer pushback, which at 50% tariff, you can just imagine. So that's why those discussions are extremely important. It's really critical that we continue to engage and demonstrate that there is a whole beneficiation, especially in countries that are not so advanced in manufacturing like ourselves, and in the region, Namibia, South Africa. There definitely is a big case to be made for that to be re-looked at, so that it can support the development of the industry down the value chain, which is what we're seeking to do, and also not hurt US consumers who wish to purchase diamonds, because there isn't a domestic industry that's going to suffer if the tariffs are low. So,
So that's the advice you will give to the decision makers and the policy makers, maybe to consider?
Well, I mean, that's what's already happening. I think they are already engaging, and they are already having those discussions, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there something you can tell us? That
I'm not sure how far they are, to be honest, but I know that there is definitely concerted effort towards advocating that very strongly.
Because I would imagine that with the president being at the UN summit in New York, he will get an opportunity to also have a chit-chat with them, because in this economic partnership, it is very vital and very important that, they are able to understand the ripple effect for our market as well and our economy at large. I hope that those conversations bore successful fruit because our relationship with the BS has been described as one of the most pivotal and long-term relationship, the most brilliant and hailed partnership, triple P partnership in Africa, if not the world, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we will need to work together to be able to achieve that. With that being said, how have the recent agreements signed maybe in February 2025 further solidified this alliance? Does it mean that the president is going to New York alone, or DBS will also go there and we negotiate together at the same table? How has this solidified our alliance, the February agreement?
Yeah, the February agreement was really a great moment for the diamond industry. Yes. As you mentioned, the partnership between the government of Botswana and DBS is a very important one. Botswana is the largest producer of diamonds in the world. DBS too, I mean, the leading diamond producing company in the world. So that partnership, having existed for, like you said, almost 60 years now, it gives that certainty that the partnership is still strong, and therefore the two who are responsible for a large majority of the world's supply of diamonds, continuing the partnership gives greater confidence to the market, that they will continue to see supply, they will continue to see that good collaboration working together that gives the industry stability and certainty over a long period of time. And I think that's what the industry needs, given all the volatility you need for certain things to be stable, for the industry to make long-term investment decisions as well.
Okay, that's great. I would also like to believe, I think I can see government is taking austerity measures itself during these tough times. They've been cutting on a lot of things here and there and try to deal with priority issues where financial implications are concerned. In your financial report yourselves, you said that you are making tough decisions, including production cuts across the industry and slowing down capital projects. Like, for example, you mentioned the Venetia underground project. How have these measures, alongside significant purchases of stock from producers like Botswana, helped to rebalance the supply and the demand?
Yeah, you know, we've had to make some really tough decisions given where the demand for natural diamonds is. We couldn't continue a situation where we kept our cost the same, whilst we know that demand for diamonds was not where it needs to be to support that cost. So it's really about balancing the two. And as you mentioned, one of the things we had to do was cut production, and that's a simple keep production in line with demand, so that you're not producing an oversupply and then you don't have on the other side consumers making that purchase. So it was really kind of aligning that supply with the demand. That was very important as part of us just making sure that we are having a business that performs well and is well positioned for the turnaround. One of the other things that we've done is we've also implemented a number of cost containment measures across our business. So also, you know, everyday costs, we're looking at how to keep them down, cutting back on things like travel, etc. That has to be very carefully contained to make sure that we are not exceeding those costs and putting strain on the business. The other thing that we did was to sell off some of our certain select goods at lower margins than what we bought them for, to really address the inventory issue. And that has helped bring more cash into the business. I think you would have heard at our results we talked about that bringing more cash into the business. So those are some of the things that we've done just to try and put ourselves in a solid, more stable footing and allow ourselves to be ready for greater growth once the market turns around and we see that demand coming back.
What does looking at your dealing with your inventory issue mean in specific? Does it mean you are offloading? Does it mean you are selling at a discounted price? What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, it meant that there's certain stock that was in the system, and we only took certain types of goods, and we looked at what we could sell them for, and we sold them basically at a lower margin from what we bought them at. Again, so that we just didn't have too many diamonds sitting in the system. Again, it's sort of to rebalance that stock and keep it where it ought to be. So multiple steps taken. At production level, you're not continuing to produce more than is the demand. In the inventory side, you're reducing your margins and selling off that inventory so that when demand picks up, it's actually demand from the production base because you would have cleared off some of the stock in the midstream. Otherwise, if you wait, demand comes up and then you're still clearing all of this stuff and you've got production that's slowed down. Yeah, so we needed to do both so that we get to a point where we've kind of stabilized when it comes to the supply that's in the system.
Besides yourself as a company, how does this affect the market or help the market as well?
I think it helps just create that greater stability and for the market to operate sort of as it should, because there's a lot going on. You know, when markets are difficult and at a retail side there isn't as much sales as there ought to be.
Yes.
It just has that ripple effect going back. Yeah.
It means that at the end of the spectrum, does it mean that at the end of the spectrum, me as a consumer also get it at a lower price, at a better subsidized price? Do they have a relationship? Your stock rebalancing, how the meat players, the side holders are going to get it from, and how the retailer is at the end of it going to sell it to me as a consumer?
I mean, I think there would be that trickle-down effect. But remember, we did that for only a specific set of goods. For the rest of the sales that we made, they were as per the normal process. So it's not going to have a huge overall effect. It was just to address a specific problem at a specific time. Yeah.
So before I get into the building forever sustainability issue that I wanted to discuss with you, I want you to just re-clarify to me, because this question is really important for our discussion. But earlier on, you had told me why there are a bit of constraints to get into the issue between Botswana, DBS and the government of Botswana with the portfolio that you hold, because they are shareholders and this and that. Can you just unbundle that for me, maybe the relationship?
Oh, the structure.
Yeah, because there were questions I had indicated that we will discuss, and you said, no, those questions, you should discuss them with Anglo-American or with government. They are our partner. They are not specifically for you as DBS. Maybe just re-elucidate that for me so that
Okay. All right. So in terms of how we're structured, De Beers is a leading global diamond company. And it is owned 15% by the government of Botswana and 85% by Anglo-American. So that's De Beers Group. All our entire operations, from exploration and mining all the way through to retail of diamond jewelry, all that entire group is owned 15% by the government of Botswana and then 85% by Anglo-American. Now, when it comes to our mining operations, we do them through joint venture operations with producer country partners in Botswana and Namibia. So in Botswana, all our mining is done with Botswana. Botswana then is a 50-50 joint venture between the government of Botswana and De Beers Group. So what it means effectively is that government owns 50% of Botswana, and then it owns 15% of De Beers Group, which is everything that De Beers owns in Namibia and South Africa and all our entire operations. So that's the nature of the relationship.
Yes, because I'm interested in knowing who is likely to buy the shares in Anglo-American and all the likes.
Yes.
I heard that they are the CEO or the former CEO. And who is that? Al Cook? Al Cook is the current CEO.
He's the current
former
CEO.
Bruce. Bruce Cleaver. And his other partner, they are also bidding to get in there. I hear that the Saudis could be getting in there. We've heard of the Russians also being interested and all that kind of stuff. I'm saying we're trying to have a conversation around that as well. And you said I should refer the questions elsewhere. I just wanted you to break down to me why that is the case.
Yes, exactly, because you're asking De Beers to answer a question that is meant for its parents to answer, because we are the children who the custody has to be decided about, who is going to go where. So it's at a parent level at Anglo-American and Government of Botswana that the two co-owners of De Beers would need to then decide on the future of the company once Anglo pulls out. So that is why I was saying those questions would be for the two shareholders of De Beers. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I discovered that Anglo-American is owned by BlackRock, one of the most richest company in the universe. It's a trillionaire company. Guess what? Yeah. So anyway, I think some of these discussions I've been trying to reach out to the ministry and the minister for us to be able to come here and speak about that in specific. I do believe that we are still in conversation. We will be able to get to that. But for your part, the Building Forever sustainability programs, where you are most area focused in Botswana, because your sustainability programs are the cornerstone of DBS commitment, now consolidated into pillars focusing on livelihoods, climate and nature, and all the likes. Why are these programs considered increasingly important, especially in challenging economic conditions like this?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and it is the reason why we get up every morning. So our sustainability programs are extremely important because we understand that a diamond is forever, but diamond mines are not. And we've partnered with producer countries to mine for diamonds, but we do know that this is a finite product, and at some point those mines will cease to exist. What will replace them? And that's what sustainability is all about. What is the future going to look like? And our Building Forever program is really about making sure that there is a lasting positive legacy that will endure even after the last diamond has been mined. Now, that's really powerful because it means what we do today has got to have the impact of ensuring that it continues even when we're no longer here as a mining entity. We've chosen the 3 pillars because we believe that these are what are most critical to our producer country partners, to the areas where we actually mine our diamonds. And that's livelihoods, climate, and nature. In Botswana, we are really heavily focused on livelihoods, and I think the reasons are obvious. We've got a lot of socioeconomic challenges, including economic diversification, which is really now coming to the fore, given what's happening with diamond demand at the moment. We've got issues of high youth unemployment. We've got so many issues that require us, our exports come from only one commodity, right? So all of these compel us to really look at how do we develop people, how do we support the ongoing economic growth of the country in a sustainable basis. And we have seen that the only way to do that is through building or helping to build strong enterprises that can grow, that can scale, and that can expand into new markets and collectively become as big as De Beers is in terms of significance to the economy.
How do you build those enterprises? I don't know, I've heard about the Stanford seed transform. Is that what we are talking about?
Yes.
Because I would like to understand right in detail when you say you are building sustainable enterprises. What does it entail?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Okay, so what I mean is we're helping to support the development of those enterprises, right? So we've done it through partnering to create a number of entrepreneurship development programs that are aligned to where entrepreneurs are in terms of their stage of development. So the Stanford Seed Program is really our most important one because it's looking at enterprises that are fairly established and have that potential to really plug into the critical areas of the economy, who are in a position where they could be export ready, in a position where they can expand and diversify their operations, in a position where they can become globally competitive. And we take them through a program which is very different from other programs that you will find in other business schools. The Stanford program is unique in the sense that instead of one CEO flying off to Silicon Valley or to California to do the course, you have the Stanford course coming into the business. So you've got business transformation leaders who will sit with not only the business owner, but his entire management team, which is why it requires companies that are already kind of well established. So you need to have at least 3 ExCo members, a finance person, HR, operations, whatever it might be, but you've got to be able to have that management structure in place first, so that when the program, when you start the program and you start putting in place the transformation plan, you're working with your team already. And what's great is that from day one, you start developing that transformation plan. You look at your vision, what it is that you want for your business. The business transformation advisors help you to crystallize that. They help you to put building blocks as to how you will reach that. So in addition to your regular courses around, finance, HR, strategy, etc., you also then are supposed to apply that real time to your business, so that at the end of the 11th month period, you have a transformation plan on day one you can actually start to put into place.
Does this kind of support entail maybe revenue, raising revenue, expansion plans and all the likes?
Yeah.
So what do they entail really?
So the transformation plan will have the building blocks to all of those things that you want to achieve as a leader. So if you're sitting here saying, I'm in Gaborone, I own this manufacturing company, but my aspiration, and in fact they help you put in place a plan that is really transformational. So if you had said, maybe I want to be the biggest in Botswana, they help you look much broader than that. And you might decide that you want to be the biggest manufacturer in your space in all of Africa. They help you actually put in place what needs to happen for that to be true. And you will find that a lot of our companies that have been through the program have said to us, if I had done this program before I went and got my loan from the bank or from CEDA or wherever else, I would have used that money much better. Many of our companies have been able to expand now out of Botswana as a result of having been on the program. And they've actually come and said that. They've said the transformation plan helped me look much broader, much further, and I now have operations in East and West Africa and in South Africa as well.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Nice. Any examples of those?
Yeah, we certainly do. We've got a company called Arona Foods that manufactures certain types of food stuff. They've got a big partnership.
I've seen that one.
Yes, with a big South African retailer, and they're providing some of the goods into the
wow.
yeah,
I've seen Arona. Recently I saw them at the trade show.
Yes. So there are companies like that. There are companies like Lucient Engineering. It's an engineering company. They've grown into East Africa. They're in West Africa as well. In South Africa as well, they've got a presence there. We've got one major agriculture company called Gwenantle. They do large-scale agriculture, mostly in Botswana, but the extent of their program is really fantastic, or of their business is really fantastic. And they're also looking at working with smallholders as well to try and bring them up and support them in growing and being able to plug into their own supply chain. So all of these companies are really great examples of companies that are looking to go outside the border. We've got another company that's into insurance. Alpha Direct, they're also growing their businesses outside Botswana. They've developed some products that are really leading edge and are able to compete very nicely. So we're seeing them grow and scale, and they're doing all the things that we want companies to be doing. And I think at the end of the day, if we can have 53 companies have been through this program, if we can have 500 companies going through this program and all growing and expanding, imagine what impact that has on the Botswana economy.
Wow, that's fantastic. So this is to do with DBS in the space of entrepreneurial development.
Yes.
What does it take for other SMMEs to qualify for this Stanford Seed program? I mean, what is the eligibility criteria?
Okay, so you have to have a certain revenue threshold.
Okay.
The minimum is $300,000, so that's about almost 4 million bula.
In revenue?
In revenue, yeah. In turnover. So it's not profit.
Yes.
It is,
just turnover.
Just turnover.
Okay.
So, and one of the interesting things that we found is, a couple of years ago, we were actually asking ourselves, after a few years, will we have exhausted the number of companies that are that are eligible for this program, because we thought our market was very small.
Okay.
But as we started working with various industry players, now we've been partnering with banks, we've been partnering with other institutions to say, we've got this program, can you allow us to tell some of your customers about this? And as we've been partnering with them, we found that there are Botswana companies that are at that level, ready to scale. And some of them are doing very interesting things. So it's been such an encouragement to see that they're there and to see that this program can really help to shape the future and the growth of entrepreneurs in Botswana.
That's interesting. When I read on your financial report, you say that the 2025 program saw around 40% increase in application for the Stanford Seed Program, and almost half were female-owned businesses. What does this signify about the entrepreneurial landscape in our country? And also, how does the BS aim to harness and benefit from this diversification?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's really great that you will see so many women entrepreneurs exist.
40%,
yeah.
yes.
And that they're interested in coming onto the program. So it really, for us, it's encouragement. It's saying we need to actually do more. And we need to accelerate our efforts. It's unfortunate it's coming at a point where, you know, we're so constrained financially, I think, as an entire economic system in Botswana. But I think what it does tell us is we need to work collaboratively more together to try and support our entrepreneurs and help them on this journey. But I think the message really is that they are there and they are ready to scale. And if we look at the progress that's been made by those that have been through the program, you can see the potential that lies ahead. And I think it's absolutely imperative that we do everything that we can to capture them, to encourage them to come onto the program year after year. And hopefully we will see and reap the rewards of that as an economy.
40% increase. It was 40% of, do you have the statistics of the overall number of applications? I thought I seen 2,000 or something. I can't recall from the top of my
No,
head.
it wouldn't have been about 2,000. I'll get the exact statistics for you. I don't have them there, but this past year was the largest number of applicants we had seen before. And I think, as I said, it's because we changed our approach and we reached out to more people. And I think for me that's the message. As we go around talking to a lot more people within the ecosystem, you can see that there are very many players that are interested in driving entrepreneurship development. You know, we work very closely with some of the banks, and you can see when we talk about the Stanford program, they're also very interested in how can they support us, how can they help us reach these entrepreneurs, because in the end it's pipeline for them as well, right?
Yes,
if these companies are successful, they're going to need capital. It actually helps everybody. And so there's that desire to work together and try and make this as successful as it can possibly be.
I was going to try to understand the difference between Stanford and you have another program called Tokafala.
Yes.
Tokafala Program. I would like to know the difference, because when I read about this one, I find it quite interesting that you say that it has exceeded its job creation target. Can I just get to understand that a little bit, and how people, and more especially youth, can be able to benefit from this program?
Yeah, Tokafala is a partnership between ourselves, Botswana, the government of Botswana, and Anglo-American. And together we've contributed towards the creation of a program that's going to help youth and smaller enterprises, so those that would fall below the $300,000 threshold. And it's really about capacity development, helping our entrepreneurs get the right tools to enable them to manage their operations efficiently. But it's more than just helping them, you know, keep their books right, understand marketing, understand, operations, and how to just run an efficient business. It's also about how to look at your future and future markets. So product diversity, how to form those relationships to grow your business. I think that's what's really been pivotal in us seeing the success of Tokafala. We've worked very hard to engage other industry players, and that collaboration, I think we see it coming very strongly in Tokafala. We're working with some of the banks to say, you know, how do you support smaller companies that may not necessarily meet your traditional requirements without obviously relaxing your risk matrices. But how do we create a situation where we can talk about the opportunity, talk about the challenges, and put in place something that will allow better access to finance? And we're seeing that coming through in Tokafala. It's been quite successful, the partnerships we formed. We've had different partnerships to give market access as well. So it's around really helping the entrepreneurs in terms of that opportunity. That opportunity to access platforms that they would not have had access to, that really help them deliver that step change in terms of revenue growth and scaling their businesses.
When you say better access to finance and better access to marketing, access to marketing. Banking finance, what do you mean? Better rates or flexible requirements in terms, what exactly do you mean by that?
So what we've been able to do is speak to the banks to say, here we are, we've got these companies, and this is what they're trying to do. This is the program that they've been through, so they understand certain things better. I think just by being able to position that, the banks are able to look at it and say, yes, we've got our credit criteria now, we're not going to put it aside, but we're going to look at this and with a little bit of a closer lens and be intentional around how do we actually support. Because when an application comes, yes, you are going to look at what the company's trying to do. You're going to look at all the numbers, etc., and make a decision. It's a yes or no because there's something that you follow, right?
Yes,
so they would still want to follow that, but with the understanding that this company is maybe here because they didn't necessarily have the interventions in place before.
Yes.
And then the understanding comes that they've got the interventions. So that means that there's a better ability for them to be a good customer in terms of the lending that's going to be happening. So there's just that access that I'm talking about is access in terms of the companies being a little bit more comfortable to engage with clients that they would not necessarily engage in because they've been through a program that positions them to be successful into the future. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's quite interesting. So then in the future, then those are the kind of companies and the people that will be able to tell our diamond stories, and how do you connect the two?
Yeah, I mean, so when the end consumer wants to purchase a diamond, it's really nice to talk about the good that the diamond has done. And that's part of the whole provenance story and part of our interest in ensuring that we can tell the diamond story and we can communicate it well to our clients. It's one thing to just buy something, but you find that consumers are more interested in this product that I'm buying. Where does it come from?
Yeah, the story of origin and positive impact. Yes.
And impact, exactly.
Yes.
So this is the impact that we're able to tell. We're able to say, okay, the diamond that you bought, not only has it built a whole country, built an economy, sent children to school and hospitals, etc. The infrastructure, Botswana is built off of diamonds. But we can also say, in addition, we also take on these programs that are sustainability focused. We also do a lot in the livelihood space to try and diversify our economy. And that's where the Tokafala and Stanford seed stories will come in. Wow. And then we can tell other stories around, well, what are we doing in terms of nature as well, and talk about our partnerships that are supporting in those areas and everything else that we're doing. But it's really critical that we address the key issues, which, as I said, in Botswana, it's really around livelihoods and sustainable economic development, and this is our contribution towards.
Yeah, I would like to meet and visit those entities that you have supported and quite see and get some inspiration on what it is that they are doing. Maybe then we can be able to share with the public or other Botswana for inspiration, so that we can be able to take part in the program. Most of the time, and all that kind of stuff, when we can try our best and see how it goes. So with all of that, especially when we are talking about the storytelling, you have the issue here, traceability. Since we are talking about origins, when you mentioned it for a minute there, traceability, and you have this platform had the Tracer.
Tracer, yes.
Someone was trying to dupe me, Malo, but had the Tracr. Tracer. It's called the Tracer platform.
Yes.
And I do understand that it enables. How does it enable our storytelling now, and what is the significance of registering in this platform?
Okay, so Tracr really gives source assurance of where the diamond comes from. And what it literally is a digital replica of that diamond. It's a digital twin of the diamond, and it'll capture certain key information about the stone in the diamond in its rough form and in its polished form. So that means it can go from source where it was actually mined. You capture the information on the system. It then goes to a manufacturer. He turns it into a polished stone, captures the information in the system. In this system, you can't alter that information that's gone in there. And once you've got that information on the polished, then it's trackable all the way to when it's finally a diamond it's set in a piece of diamond jewelry. So the person who buys it will then, through Tracr, will be able to say this is a diamond that's been mined in Botswana, and then you can attach that Botswana diamond story to that diamond, and it allows you for even retailers to be able to tell the compelling story of the natural diamond and all the good that it does from mine to finger. And then you can also allow the consumer who's buying it not to just buy a beautiful 1-carat diamond ring, but to connect with the story of where that diamond ring comes from and what it's done.
So at that point, where especially origin and storytelling, you could be able to connect the diamond joining to Jay-Z. Basically. Okay,
it won't be mine, it will be country.
Yes, yes. Or it will be country to what? Consumer or individual?
Yes,
so
the
at
individual.
What stage does it take
at the
you?
retail stage, the retailer will be able to tell that person this diamond is from Botswana. And we'll be able to, and then that allows us to then attach the diamond story of Botswana to that diamond. So he can also say, okay, guess what? And Botswana is where Otsile comes from. Botswana is,
also,
what we're doing all.
We will also be able to trace it to the buyer.
What do you mean trace it
to the
buyer?
end owner.
So the end owner who's buying it at the point of sale will be able to get that assurance of where his diamond comes from, which is very important because if you're selling a diamond and you've got, I don't know, one that comes from wherever and one that comes from Botswana, you're able to tell the story of this diamond comes from Botswana, and by the way, in Botswana, this is what diamonds do. Yeah.
So I'm asking this question because, for example, the crown jewel in the Queen's crown with the diamond from is it Kimberly and whatnot. We know that she is wearing a crown with a diamond from Kimberly.
Yes.
When Jay-Z is on the stage, will we be able to know? We know this one is coming from Botswana, or he will be the only one who knows.
He will be the one who knows, and hopefully it is that story that will make him purchase that diamond, or more inclined to purchase it, right? As opposed to him just buying and there's no kind of information, except that it's the cut, the clarity, and everything else. If there's nothing else attached to that, then it's just another diamond that he's buying.
So that will be his prerogative to disclose that if he wants to, and all the likes.
But you know, people like to tell stories, right? If you buy a nice pair of shoes and there's an interesting story about this shoe is bespoke, it was made by X, Y, and Z or whatever. People will tell the story. I bought this really great thing, and guess what? I found out it sponsors its entrepreneurs to go on the Stanford-DBF program, and they're transforming the economy of Botswana. That's fantastic.
Yeah, of course. Really, life is a story. Just the past weekend, when you say that someone was driving an old school Mercedes-Benz, and they were just trying to convince me how this Benz used to be owned by a former president. And I was like, no, get out of here, no chance. But you could tell that that story, they kept it to themselves, you know. And okay, they were similar, but you can tell that they're enjoying part of that story to attach it with the vehicle and all that kind of stuff. So this Tracr, it's able to, the reason why it's there, is it not to be able to distinguish blood diamonds from conflict diamonds, from originally mined diamonds, which are conflict free and all that kind of stuff.
So what it is meant to do is, as I said, give that source assurance, and it will have the effect of being able to allow the consumer to tell the difference. So if you buy a diamond and the retailer tells you that actually and you say, tell me a bit about this diamond. And the
Yeah.
retailer says, this diamond comes from Botswana and is able to tell you some of the stories behind what it does in Botswana, whether it's
Yes.
the work that we do in the Delta or entrepreneurship, you know, whatever it might be. That story connects the person who's buying the diamond in a different way to his purchase. And that's the whole point, that then you know for certain that it wasn't a conflict diamond, because you know the story now. You know, in Botswana there's no conflict. In fact, we just have great athletes. We've got you know, great Delta,
and hey,
great
Prince
people.
Harry and Meghan Markle bought the diamond ring from here in Botswana,
exactly.
engaged here in Botswana. So how can it be of conflict?
Exactly.
Okay, I'm glad to know that's what it also helps to authenticate.
Yes.
And all the likes. So basically, earlier on when we were speaking about the ability for the industry to differentiate between lab diamonds and natural diamonds, and as we are getting into the space about marketing and campaigns, I've seen somewhere where it says there's this desert diamonds campaign. Tell me all about that, and how does that contribute to highlighting our unique value and the story of natural diamonds, especially here in Botswana? Is it desert diamonds? Or?
Yes. It is. So this is a really exciting initiative for us, and it's really about drawing inspiration from the desert landscapes, which most of our diamonds come from, right? Botswana's a desert, Namibia also a desert.
Yeah, Russia is a desert if you think about it. A frozen tundra, it's a desert, yes.
So, but the idea is really around, again, continuing to support the natural diamond story.
Yes.
But in a different way, in a compelling way. So there's so many ways to do it. Like I said, you know, and it's still underpinned by traceability as well. But there's so many ways to do it in the sense that you can tell the story of the positive story that we've been talking about now, but you can also infuse something around where these diamonds come from into, you know, how they look, and inspire the actual design. So you'll find that they use the colors of the desert. They've infused that into the actual diamonds. So that's the thing. It's drawing that inspiration from where they come from, so that you can tell the story in a compelling and in a different way. And I think that the bottom line is that there are so many ways to tell the story of where the diamond comes from, and being able to relate that to the impact. And you can do it through multiple ways, but this is one of them, which I think is really strong and really powerful. And it's something that we are really excited about as a business.
Oh, I love that. I'll be watching and following closely to see how it unravels. Because when you see that, basically it compels me to say, as Botswana moves to increase its stake and control over the diamond value chain, well, possibly with the backing from global players, or whoever the best man will win. How are we going to ensure that the promise of building forever doesn't become a tool for elite accumulation, greenwashing, and all sorts, but remains to be the minus child in Letlhakane and the unemployed graduate in Molepolole? How do we make sure that it remains accountable?
Yeah, I think what's great about the Botswana diamond story is that from the very beginning, diamonds were meant to support the development of people in the economy of Botswana. I think that was the very premise right from the start. And the fact that it's continued and the partnership continues to be based on that as well gives me a lot of encouragement that regardless of what may happen in the future with you know, Anglo then not being part of the ownership anymore, says to me, whoever comes on as a partner will see this as a key compelling value that De Beers brings. That's the Building Forever piece. It's actually central to who we are and what we do, and how we promote diamonds going forward. It's very much aligned with Botswana as a country and what it seeks to do socioeconomically. And I think that will be part of the selling proposition for whoever comes on board. You're not just buying into a company that's profit-driven. You're buying into a company that's looking at doing good into the future and being a leader in that aspect as well.
how are we maybe in I don't know how you view these things. Whoever is likely to buy, let's not discuss about maybe government saying that it wants to be a majority and probably turn this into an SOE and all this. It hasn't happened yet, but maybe let's try to mirror from the current setup. Whoever is buying Anglo-American right now becomes a majority shareholder automatically. What mechanisms maybe could we put in place such that sometimes our majority shareholders don't come here with ideas that are now adverse to the principles you've just mentioned, the principles that have kept us resilient, successful, and a global inspiration in that terms? How do you think we could manage that?
You know, a global inspiration indeed. I think you know, it goes without saying, at the very beginning you did say this is probably the most significant and successful private-public partnership in the world. And I would like to believe that whoever would come in and look at this as an opportunity for themselves would be somebody who wants to continue that legacy. Because part of buying into an organization is that you're not just buying the balance sheet or what the numbers say to you. It's what's behind the numbers, what drives them, what creates that value. And I think part of that desirability for natural diamonds is the good that natural diamonds do. I think, you know, when you look at it, diamonds are actually quite vulnerable to certain shocks. You know, unlike if you're buying a pair of shoes and you hear that these shoes are made by women who are in sweatshops. You can stop buying the particular pair of shoes. But if you buy a diamond and it happens to be a conflict diamond, it tends to have an impact on the whole industry. So whoever, I believe, comes in will want to make sure that they are very much interested in supporting the sustainability of the natural diamond industry going forward by participating with the biggest diamond producer in the world to buy into the biggest diamond company in the world. That's powerful. I think if you left that out, I don't believe that would be a good decision, but that's just my view.
Yes, the intrinsic value in all of this. Okay, I had not seen it that way. So maybe as we are going into conclusion of our discussion, let me in on this. When it comes to the diamond value chain, how much is Botswana maybe missing out in terms of revenue across the whole global value chain by exporting key segments of the industry, such as polishing, and making jewelry locally? How much are we missing out as a country?
You know, I think what I can say is I've seen definitely that there is an interest in greater participation of Botswana across the value chain. I think that's certainly there. And if you look at some of the steps we took a couple of years ago before the downturn, as De Beers, we had already committed, I'm not sure what year it was, 2022, but I may be mistaken, $1 billion in rough into local factories to support that local development of the cutting and polishing industry. So, and remember, that's a place that we don't play in. De Beers doesn't cut and polish. We do that through site holders. So there is that concerted effort, and I know there's certainly a desire for there to be more of that in country. And I do believe that government is really driving very hard for that to happen. But maybe if I can go back to some of our efforts as a company to support downstream, we had a program called Shining Lights, which I'm sure you've heard of. And it was really around that. We recognize that there is very little participation at a producer country level, particularly in Botswana. We know that it's, the level of participation is really very, very low. And this particular program was intended on identifying talent. So it's not based on whether you've done a degree in jewelry design or whatever the case might be. It was just a competition. Here's the brief. You give us your best design based on the brief. And from that, we have professionals in the industry who are able to gauge and see, does this person have creative talent? Do they have an eye? Do they have this and that? And based on that, we identify a winner and we give them opportunities based on what they would like to do going forward. It could be opportunities for school. As you know, the We've got a Shining Lights winner from 2024 who went through to Milan to do a program there. And that piece is extremely important because it's not just about what they're going to learn, the technical know-how that they'll get from the school. It's also about being exposed to the global world of design and luxury, because it's a completely different world and you don't have that context in country. So putting them at the center of that is extremely important. They gain the exposure, they gain the knowledge, they start to see things differently. They understand what good looks like, they understand what excellent looks like. It puts them in a different position to take advantage of that. Now, we can't do it in mass because that creates a whole big program, but we can certainly take the steps and we can certainly look for partners who can support us along the way. And we're doing that as well, trying to see what we can do, working with institutions, Bo-Odi College, etc., to see how do we create more opportunities for young people in the jewelry sector in the country.
I think it would be fantastic for us to really take a shot and an aim at that, because right now our unemployment rate is not appealing at all, and I think there are still pockets and green areas of the economy and the sector that Botswana can still jump into, you know, and we try, and because when I look at that, because a lot of pockets of our industry are still at infancy stage. I recall something that you once told me about. You said 7% of global jobs come from. Yes, there was something you mentioned about how 7%.
But I think it said roughly 7% of global economic activity is run by 100 global companies around the world, something like that.
The top 100 jobs are the ones that create around 7%.
Companies drive 7% of economic activity, something like that. I don't remember exactly.
And so, which means the rest, that's 70%, 7%, which means 93% of the global economic activity is run by SMMEs.
Is run, by companies that are not in the top 100.
I find that powerful, because if SMMEs in Botswana also can go into those spaces and play, we could create 93% of jobs in Botswana as well.
I mean, the other statistic is that in the EU, something like 60-something%, almost 70% of jobs are created by SMMEs. So I think that goes to show you that this is why we are focused on enterprise development, on entrepreneurship development, because we realize that if we are to help to drive economic diversification and sustainable economic development, it's going to take us creating multiple businesses that are not going to be huge, but that are going to be strong companies that can create that economic growth for the country.
Self-sustainable.
Sustainable.
And robust.
Yes, it's that critical mass of SMEs.
Not carrying too much weight and load, but being efficient and are able to plug revenue leakages within themselves to remain long-term drivers of the economy and employment and job creation.
Exactly.
I find that.
Instead of having one company that employs 10,000 people, and then, you have multiple companies that employ 100 to 50 each or whatever. You've just got to grow that and create that critical mass. And the reason why it goes back to our entrepreneurship development, you're asking me about participation. An entrepreneur can always see an opportunity and be able to help himself raise the funding, find the partners, and go into that opportunity. So sometimes we try and create the platform and the enabling environment. It's very important. So we'll try and create a program, Shining Lights, to do this. But an entrepreneur will be able to say, this young lady has a great eye for detail and whatever else. I think we can turn this into a business. But he's got that mind and that vision and that ability to drive business into the future in a sustainable way. Those are two very different things. And therefore, the reason why, from a sustainability perspective, we want to help support entrepreneurship development is that we know that that is going to be what's going to carry us into the future.
Oh, fantastic. Now, in closing, remember, if every diamond could tell the story of the community it came from, what do you wish every consumer knew about their lives, people, and the impact behind the Botswana diamond?
I wish every consumer would know that when they buy a natural diamond, they're buying into a phenomenal story of resilience, a story of greatness, a story of a country or countries, particularly a country, I'll speak from the perspective of Botswana, a story of a country that has really taken its natural resources and used them for the long-term development of its people and its country. And that is something that is extremely rare, particularly in the context of Africa. It's extremely rare, but I think even in the world. When you go anywhere in the world and you say to people, our government will sponsor children to school, from primary school to tertiary education, people say they've never heard that anywhere in the world. That's phenomenal. And I think we don't give ourselves enough credit, and I think people don't know enough about what we do. It sounds like it's, you take it for granted because we live here, we experience that every day. But it really is remarkable.
When you travel in other countries and you tell people that, you feel so dignified.
Yeah, right? You really do. You really do.
Yes.
So it is a very powerful story, and I wish people would want to participate in that and know that if I buy a natural diamond and it's from Botswana, this is actually what I'm participating in. And Botswana is the biggest producer, as I said, in the world. So chances are, most people who buy a diamond will be buying a diamond from here. And it's really important that they understand that, or many people who buy a diamond will buy it from Botswana. It's really important that they understand what that diamond has done, and that no other diamond has done that anywhere else in the world.
All right. Yeah. All right. No, fantastic. I can hear the story. I could not say that I'm far from impressed. But I would like to thank you for showing up and having this conversation with us. And I wish to keep on having so many more conversations, and especially your alumni at the Stanford, so that I can hear also stories from the horse's mouth.
From them.
Because right now, ladies and gentlemen, as the world watches Botswana redefine the diamond narrative, we thank you, Mabeo, for reminding us that sustainability is not just the sparkle of the product, but the dignity of the people behind it as well. So this is the Punchline Podcast. Please follow DBS, follow my page, follow all these stories to get to understand the stories behind the sustainability of our lives and diamonds, and the real impact in the people's lives, Botswana. So this is the Punchline Podcast. We are sitting at 3.3 million of our audience appetite, and we do like to thank you for supporting us and taking so much interest and the time, the 1 hour of your precious lives to sit there and have these discussions and conversations with us, and put your comments right there and share with friends and stakeholders, so that we can keep on improving and bringing you this dialogue. Please stay tuned. My name is Lawrence Seretse, and I'm out.